We are going to start a public council meeting at 6:45, July 19. I would like to call this city council meeting in order, also with our redevelopment agency. And will you please I would like to refer to the city attorney about the closed session issues, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The council met in closed session to discuss items A through E on the closed session agenda. Direction was given. No reportable action was taken on all items. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Councilman Maritza Hurtado, will you please guide us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the agenda.
I'll second. Okay. Everybody is. Can we? Let's go to vote. What happened? There we go. Gosh. Okay, motion pass. 5-0. Okay, we need to start with. We have general comments by the public. Right here.
Presentations afterwards.
Presentation. Okay, we have some presentation from the Sports Summit Statue update by Recreation Commission. Will you please come forward and do the presentation?
I think we should go back.
Okay, I want to apologize, but I want to start with another item. Announcement, public comments. Public comments are welcome. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. Please complete a speaker form prior to start of the meeting. If the item you wish to comment on in closed session item, please comment now. If the item wish you to comment on is on the public portion of the agenda, we will take your comment when we get to the item on the agenda. And I believe I have 3 forms. City Council agenda. I have this form from Carmen Estrada. Would you please come forward to the podium? Oh, okay.
Buenas tardes. Quiero pedirles a las personas que están aquí presentes y al concilio. Tenemos 5 equipos en nuestro programa de diferentes categorías que van rumbo al Nacional, a San Diego, en el Estadio Olympic, y estamos trabajando pues muy duro en carnes asadas, car wash, para llevar a cabo este torneo que se va a llevar a cabo 5, 6 y 7 de agosto. Y al mismo tiempo darle las gracias a todas las personas que nos han ayudado, porque hemos tenido muy buena respuesta. El torneo nos va a llevar un precio de $2,500 por cada equipo, que son por 5 equipos, estamos hablando de $12,500, que ahorita nos faltan nomás 2,000 ya, porque Willy es una persona también que nos ha ayudado, que hicimos un car wash, sacamos $1,200 y el último car wash que vamos a hacer va a ser el sábado con una carne asada y esperamos a completar esos $2,000. Y este torneo que vamos a llevar a cabo es precisamente para que saquen, van a agarrar niños de nuestro programa para llevarlos a las fuerzas básicas. Precisamente el día de mañana se van 2 jóvenes a las Chivas, a Guadalajara, que es el niño Iván Maldonado y Abraham Acuña. Para mí es una satisfacción y quiero compartirlo con ustedes para que nos sigan apoyando, porque la verdad todos los deportes son muy importantes para que esta ciudad brille y pues estoy muy orgullosa, la verdad, porque tenemos ya 8 jugadores profesionistas y el que lleva la bandera es Isaac Acuña, que ahorita está con el América. Ese niño fue el que nos trajo como una bendición a nosotros, porque a través de ese joven es como venir personas a ver más niños, porque Isaac salió no de un coach profesionista, sino salió de nosotros, que nosotros lo apoyamos, el pueblo, y él solito fue a donde está, y así están yendo cada día más jóvenes, y tenemos más apoyo de personas profesionistas, porque créanme que han venido aquí con nosotros y quisiera que ustedes cuando vengan ellos pues los reciban al conjunto con nosotros para que ellos sepan que ustedes también se están apoyando, aunque sí lo están haciendo, pero sí me gustaría la verdad que para en diciembre viene el América y Chivas y va a ser regalado. Eso es para ver si ojalá se nos logra ponerle el parque a Isaac Acuña, porque ese niño es de nombre, para mí él tiene un nombre aquí en Calexico ya, y ojalá se lleve a cabo eso. Gracias.
Sí, señora Estrada, ¿puede repetir otra vez No, nomás quiero saber la fecha. ¿El car wash cuándo va a ser? ¿Sábado?
El sábado de 8 a 1 de la tarde.
De 8 a 1,
sí.
Este sábado.
Cobramos $5 por lavar los carros.
Sábado.
Y pues ojalá tengamos el
¿En
apoyo.
qué parte?
Con señor Hermosillo, rentan carros, él nos está facilitando.
You save car rental.
Okay.
Gracias.
Gracias. Bejarano Estrada, will you please? Bejarano Estrada, will you please come to the forward? To the podium. Come forward to the podium. Oh, disculpe, es Esther Bejarano. Disculpe.
Good afternoon, Council. Good afternoon, residents. My name is Esther Bejarano, and I am from the Comité Cívico del Valle. I'm a promotora in Brawley. I'm here to let the public know and council that we have just finished a 1-year implementation of a flag program that is flying in all the schools in Calexico. It's a partnership from the Department of Public Health in California, Comité Cívico del Valle, and the American Lung Association. If I can approach the...
Erika, por favor.
It's a pilot project, and what it is that a flag is going up every day during school days, 8 a.m., 12 noon, and 2 o'clock. Somebody from the office is checking the AQI, which is the air quality that you can see on the website of Air Pollution Control District. This is a great program for Calexico because the community is more aware of the air qualities that we suffer. This has been mimicked from San Joaquin Valley, which also suffers from air quality, and 1 out of every 5 children in Imperial Valley have asthma. I am very happy and in grateful with the Calexico School District who has supported this program. All of the schools have agreed to continue flying this program, which has no cost to the community. It's free. Everything was provided to them, from materials, flags, and training to staff. So you will be seeing a school flying in, a flag flying in all schools of Calexico. And this is just a communication to the public of what the air quality is that day. They check it online in the morning and they raise a flag. All of the parents have received a letter, as I just passed to you, and parents, teachers, community are now aware of the air quality by just looking up to the school's flagpole. Congratulations to new mayor. I just wanted you to know about this important program in our community.
Thank you.
And if anybody has any questions, I can be reached at Comité Cívico del Valle, and I will be in the community getting this word out.
Are those flags, where are going to be located? To each school? Or?
Every school has a flag that has participated in this pilot project.
Okay.
It was free, and every school has a flag. In the morning, they either fly the green, depending on the air quality. Green means good air quality day. Yellow, as you can see, is air pollution is it's a little high, but only for severe sensitive groups. Children who has asthma. This is great for children who has asthma because now school is modifying their activity as the day goes on. So if the air quality reaches orange or yellow, school has been trained to watch out for those kids. If the air quality is high, they keep the kids indoor who have bad asthma or heart problems. So we are protecting our children. We are protecting our community by starting this great project, and we really hope it continues. The district has not really adopted it, and I want to really push for that because we really need this in our community in Imperial County.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your information. There's some question from my colleagues. No question.
And
I'm sorry.
I will keep some of these out there if anybody wants to grab one. Thank you.
Okay, thanks to you. Okay, our next petition is Luis Casillas from POA. Will you please come to the podium?
Just setting my timer here, Mr. Moreno. Good evening, board members and public. Today I'd like to shed a little light on various committees and boards that we have throughout our city. And I want to commend every board member and committee member that does this out of the kindness of their heart, that truly does it for the involvement, for their community, for their city. And I don't know if people are aware of them, but we have a variety of committees and boards within the city. One of them being the Measure H committee. We have police commissioners. We have a traffic referee. We have police volunteers. We got the personnel commission. We got the bid committee. So there's just a variety of boards that where people involved in the community is involved, and they really go out of their way, and I want to commend them for their time and their dedication to their city, and truly it really takes a lot to do that type of work. On the other hand, the flip side to that is, in a time where we're taking that turn of transparency, I just believe that there's some individuals that hold multiple positions in these committees who are been appointed by various members of this board, whether it's legal or not legal. I don't think it's illegal, but I believe that the mission of these, or the reason to have these committees, is to have community involvement and for everyone to be a part of it. And as it stands now, we have an individual that's part of the Measure H committee. He's a police commissioner. He's a traffic referee. And and he's a police volunteer. And there's got to be conflict there. We got 40,000 people here, and I just think that if we're truly turning the corner to have some transparency, we got to cut this compa system out. And there's 40,000 folks here that I'm sure will be more and willing to take in part in some of these committees. And so as we turn the corner and we try to be a little more transparent, I just suggest that you look at that. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Casillas. Okay, I know this item is not in the agenda, but I like your legal advice, Jennifer. There's some police or city ordinance that we need to follow in this case. I mean, that's my question.
Mr. Mayor, if you're talking about the commission ordinance, I don't believe that it says that people cannot be on multiple commissions.
Multiple commission, yes.
That would be the city commission ordinance.
No.
Mr. Mayor, I believe that if it's an elected official, he cannot be in various other committees if he's an elected official. But if he's a volunteer, I think it would be okay.
Yeah. So.
I don't actually have the copy of the commission ordinance in front of me, but I can check. But I believe that's my recollection, is that it doesn't have a specific prohibition about being on multiple commissions.
Okay.
And one thing to consider in being commissions, there's no stipend, there's nothing. Right. And there's only one voice in one commission, one of 5 persons. So, anyway.
Okay, thank you. And so also we have a request from Diane.
Hi everyone. Just want to give you an update about the animal shelter in Calexico. I was here, I believe, in February or January. Just want to thank Oscar and Nick and Erica for sticking by me and actually just hearing me out and actually being part of these meetings that we've been having. I was at the animal shelter a couple of days ago and it looks amazing. It's a 180-degree change. It looks great. The improvements that have been made, they added some fans and some shade, and there's a water system that adds that actually just adds clean water and it cannot run out. And there's also, I believe Nick has told me they're going to try to build a room where if people who want to come in and adopt an animal, they can kind of have a little bit of like an interaction, socializing, and see if this is the right pet for them. I think it's a great, great, great idea. I'm very, very happy for that. They also are going to install a misting hose that's going to cool off, because we know that these animals are there for 7 days or even more, and to be in this box-like area for a long time, I'm sure it could be kind of hard to be in there. What I would like to see, actually, is just volunteers. I myself would love to volunteer. You guys can take me as for many hours as you guys need me. I said I'm free every Saturday, Sunday. I don't have much of a life here, so it would be kind of nice to be needed. What I would like to still see is, what we're still working on, is I want to see more awareness on the website. I actually go on the website a few times a week just to see, what's going on in there, and I have not seen that yet, but I know it's coming. And another thing that we've talked about was just signs being posted in the city of Calexico, just letting people know, hey, here's the animal shelter, here's when it's working, here's the time, here's the place. I think it would be really great if people know about that. And another thing that I remember me as a kid doing was when I was in high school, we had classes where we had to volunteer. So if people can just spread the word around and just see if kids would just like to, I guess, join and help out, and just, I believe it will teach the kids, I guess, more responsibility and just how to be a good citizen, instead of staying out in the streets and playing Nintendo or whatever else is going on nowadays. I'm not sure anymore. But another thing that I would like to see is, I would like to myself, if possible, I would like to create perhaps a brochure or some kind of a handout where people who have never owned an animal before, kind of like an introduction course, kind of like, hey, here's the animal, here's what you should do, here's what you should not do, kind of just kind of helping them out just for those, I guess, first-time pet owners. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. I'm always available. I can give you my number later on, but I don't want to get bombarded with all these phone calls, of course. But if it's important, I would like to get some volunteers going, and myself and Erica and Oscar are supposed to get together again and talk more about it and see what else we can do. I thank you for your time. Thanks.
Thanks to you. Okay, our next item is presentations, and we are going to start with sports summit status update by Recreation Commission. Would you please come forward?
Good afternoon, Council. Good afternoon, residents. My name is Ricardo Ortega. I'm a Recreation Commissioner for the City of Calexico. To my right, I have Yolanda. She's also Commissioner. Fortunately, our chairperson, Pat Ureña, was unavailable. She's under the weather. She had a great presentation to talk to you about the summit we had this past week. Many ideas were kicked around. We have a lot of progress to go still. I believe Ms. Toller passed out an overview, and you can look it over. Obviously, all those have sub-items as well. I mean, we can go many directions with this whole summit. Depends on how the city would like for us to follow up. One of the things that we did discuss was having some type of procedures for all the different organizations that are out there to follow to use the actual facilities, city facilities, because ultimately they're using our parks, and we want to make sure that everybody's doing everything that needs to be done to make sure that they're running a safe league. Their coaches are maybe trained, have some type of clinic on how to become coaches, ethic coaches. But what we do want to stress is that the city does not want to take over the organization, but to have some kind of procedures that they all need to follow regarding the field use and any other type of use for our parks. So please, I'm going to have Ms. Tollard go ahead and go over the overview with you guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to.
And your name is Ricardo Ortega?
Ricardo Ortega.
Ricardo Ortega, okay. Thank you.
Let me say one thing. We only had a couple of different organizations show up. We had Desert Sun Softball Girls by Jesus Indigas. He was there and participated, as well as Tony Garcia from CPAL. Obviously, there's a lot more organizations out there that we still need to get out there until we have a complete overview and the actual needs for the whole city. So if you know anybody, people that come to you guys directly, different organizations that want to come and talk to you about what they want to do, we also, as a commission, ask for you guys to, we want to work as a working commission. We don't want to be a dead commission, so please send them our way, and so we can get some information, and then from there, maybe bring up the information to council.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question. When is this proposed summit?
Oh, we have a second meeting, which is going to be the 3rd of August,
okay.
5:30.
Which is a meeting, not the summit itself.
No, well, it's it's the planning meeting.
It's a planning meeting.
Yes.
Okay. And you're looking for members of the Pop Warner, members of the Little League.
All organizations that are
all
involved in
organizations.
city public, city public.
I'll give you some numbers.
So that was
And
August
names.
the 3rd?
August the 3rd. Library? Come out in the library.
Okay, so the next time will be a meeting, is that correct? Another
Planning,
meeting?
it's a brainstorm still. We're still working
Okay,
on
that's
it.
excellent. But definitely down the line, we're going to have some type of public forum?
Correct.
Okay.
That is our ultimate goal.
Yeah, very good. Okay.
I also have some questions.
Okay.
I would like to see where the Recreation Department, working with the Recreation Commission, they have some kind of a mandatory membership, even though if it's free of any membership, free of any fees. but where all the sports programs that are out there that have to use city parks and facilities, that they become a member of the Recreation Department or the Recreation Commission, where through your commission and through the Recreation Department can have a calendar of events of what's going on out there on any given day. But that it be formed a part of a commitment. I guess the first meeting was supposed to be the summit, but only 1 or 2 participated. So the intent of the summit was done. Now, since only 2 organizations were present of, I don't know, 20, 30 that are out there, you're going to still continue with this planning stages. So hopefully you'll find more success down the line. And if there's anything that I can do, please let me know. I like what you said a little while ago about these volunteer clinics. It's not only for coaches, but also for the administrators.
I'd like to see also, if I may, a link with the city teams and the school teams, because I think they work interdependently. And that's a critical part of the success of any student athlete, is to be involved in the city and then eventually the school teams.
The meetings are very important, the planning is very important, but I really want to see a coming together in some type of public forum. What the details are, how it's going to be worked out, that can be in your hands. But it needs to be, at the end result, an event, a public event that we allow the community to be involved, especially these stakeholders, but the public knows that we've come together and we've worked on this and we're moving forward.
Okay.
And yes, and that's correct. But what we need your help in the sense, if you know of any teams, because it's been out there that we been having these meetings. We actually already had 3, and both times we've only had the same 2 groups. So with our other commission person, which is Ms. Oreña, we still thought it was still a good idea to continue, because we need to move this. We need to, meet our community's needs, especially for our children. And so we think it is a necessity. It's not just like for luxury. It's actually a need for our citizens here, that we need to have these parks, these parks going. And other things that during the subcommittee meetings that we had, we identified specific yearly goals and objectives with a strategic plan. We also wanted to continue planning these meetings, hopefully having a better result in people attending. We will be moving this forward to get more people involved, with the same 2 people as well as with others. Also, we also identified agencies and other city departments that would be impacted by proposed youth summit plans. And we worked out a feasible facility agreement. We would want to work out a feasible facility agreement with the Calexico School District, like you mentioned, Mr. Hodge, to provide, Mr. Moreno, provide additional sports programs for youth, where you link them when we work together. That's how it used to be. Promote more city sports programs for our youth year-round, and provide equal facilities for all genders, and meet with other city commissioners and city departments for input on future park developments and other locations. And so we're here to help our community, and hopefully with your help, it'll be a better Calexico. Thank you.
I'd just like to summarize my thoughts about the planning and the summit that has been brought forward by Mr. Hodge. Many parents here, Yoli, my appointment for the Recreation Commission, and we've been very involved in sports in the city of Calexico, and I would say probably within the last 5 years, things have changed quite a bit in how the recreation programs for children has changed. At one point, for those of you that don't know, our police department was in charge of a program called PAL. And PAL is Police Athletics League, or Police Activities League. And finding volunteers is really hard. As you can see from what they're saying, and I myself was at many of the meetings when we were looking for input to develop our grant that was just recently submitted, I tried my darndest to get people to come around, get people involved, get their opinion, and it was really hard. it was really hard to find volunteers. And you know, in criticizing those individuals that want to give of themselves to everything that they can, you know, it's really not probably fair, because actually when we had PAL going on, we didn't have any of the officers there participating. And when PAL closed, that was really sad. And what has happened now is that what the PAL program was at one point, a very strong program for many different sports, it disintegrated, and that's why you see so many different independent efforts by the parents themselves. And in a way, what we're trying to do right now as in this effort of bringing in this summit is to once again have our city of Calexico, with or without the police department, be the principal leader in what happens in this city, because eventually we are, well, responsible if someone gets hurt or what have you. So, you know, we have to commend those people that give of themselves no matter what. I think of something right now, that there are cities that are so tiny that one person is the chief of police, the city manager, the city clerk, and actually, you know, we have a very large city actually, and to see so little parents actively involved, it is very sad. So I feel very differently from the comment that I just heard right now, because I'm living that situation right now with my children, seeing that really the volunteers we are lacking volunteers. And I'm going to try my best to help you to motivate and to keep everybody involved, because like you said, the quality of life of Calexico is my focus right now, and should be our focus, being that we've worked so hard to take care of our finances. And hopefully we will find those volunteers that will come forward no matter what, and sacrifice their lives, their time away from their families and watching the novelas or whatever, and do something to give of themselves for someone else. Because I know they're out there, it's just getting them motivated. And again, please count on me. I am there for you, definitely.
Thank you. I do want to thank you so much for your hard work on my proposal here, and everybody else that's very concerned about it. I like to be the optimist. I don't want to, and I know we're not, but I don't want to throw up our arms and say, oh, nobody's coming. But what Maritza's pointing out is very important. And city manager, I mean, I guess we need to get our heads together and help them, and what are some incentives that we can do, or strategic areas that we can let these organizations know more about this and bring them in to this. I don't want to give up on this, and I know we're not, but I'm hearing that only 2 organizations came, so we have to change that. We have to get everybody involved.
There was some ideas kicked. Sorry, excuse me.
Go ahead.
There was some ideas kicked around, kind of extremist ideas, where these different organizations need to participate in the recreation, or have these procedures that the city puts in place, where that they can use the actual public facilities. Granted, anybody's allowed public facilities, but if there's other teams and other organizations that have followed all these procedures, they would proceed or supersede any request for field facilities for anyone else that's not. I think that's a very good idea, because you'll definitely bring them in if they care to participate. And that was one of my major concerns. Like Councilwoman Hurtado pointed out, that we need to be more of the umbrella in taking the lead. We can't, I don't believe, and I don't know all the intricacies or details, but we just can't throw it out and say, I don't know, first come, first serve, you know, come to us, and we just sit back. We need to step forward and bring them in, and part of that is we make certain things mandatory, and like you say, procedures. But at the same time, what's important is that we listen to them, but first they have to come, and we really listen to what their needs are, and we see if we can accommodate those needs. That's pretty much what we're there for. So if you have any questions, feel free to get it.
Thank you so much for doing this. Very, very, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a good presentation, and I want to congratulate Sandra Thaler for your effort and for your support to all these programs. Thank you. Okay, the next presentation is to Heffernan Memorial Healthcare District, presentation of agreement with the Police Department and Fire Department for automated external defibrillator. Can you explain us to?
Okay, Heffernan District, first let me introduce myself. I'm Rosie Fernandez, President of the Heffernan District Board. What we did was we went into an agreement with the Police Department, Fire Department, and we furnished the AEDs for them, which was 20,000, and was it was given to furnish the AEDs. And now I guess more in detail, I'm going to have Mr. Gerardo give you explanation how it's going to be used.
Should drop my check. Anyways, good evening, City Council, public, ladies and gentlemen. The automatic external defibrillators are these new machines that come out that shock your heart back into rhythm if you ever have a heart attack. One of the things that we're going to do is with the Heffernan Memorial Board gave us some money to buy some for ourselves, two for the fire department, which they are the ones that they use, paramedics use, that you need to have the training and the licensing to use. The ones that we are using are the ones that are at casinos, ballparks, shopping malls, that they are automatic. If somebody, we think is having a heart attack or their heart stopped, after the RL officers are trained, you put those patches on, you press a button, and the machine will shock them if it needs to. If it doesn't, it won't shock them. So there's no liability behind this. It's not going to shock you every time we press the button because the machine will do it automatically. And it's it's a really good tool because in our response, we are usually the first people to get to a call when it's a medical aid call, and hopefully our officers will be able to save lives because it takes the fire department anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes to get a call because of the traffic, trying to get their fire engines or ambulances to the scenes of a medical aid call. Our officers will be able to go out there and save some lives. So I want to thank them. I think it's a very, very positive for the city of Calexico. We're going to have one in our jail. We're going to have one outside or in our public area in case somebody needs it. And then we're going to have 8 of them, I think, deployed in our patrol cars. So every officer, after they receive the training, will carry one with them.
Okay. Do you have questions? I'm going to start with my left. Bill Hodge? No. Councilman?
Those are going to be with the fire department also, right?
Yes, the fire department's getting 2. 2 new ones. They already have them, but they're going to get 2 new ones to replace the outdated ones they have.
Just congratulations for the Heffernan Memorial District and working in tandem with our PD to make sure that we have some life-saving supports in each vehicle, so congratulations.
It is.
Thank you.
I have a question. Is that check including the workshop with the fire department and police department?
The training?
The training,
yes.
The
training is actually, it's really good because our firefighters we have instructors in the department, so it doesn't cost anything for them to train us.
Okay, that's good. Council, Mayor Pro Tem, do you have a question?
No, it's just that confirmation that the picture taken.
Sorry, photo on.
No, just a confirmation that the person that's going to be using this device will not determine if the person needs it or not. You'll just place it on that person with the patches, and the unit itself will determine if it turns on or not.
It goes step by steps. It actually, you open it up and it tells you, put this patch on the chest, this on the side, and then you press it again, and then it'll do a reading, and then they'll tell you to clear, or they'll tell you it will not shock, or just, and it automatically tells you everything. It has an actual readout that tells you.
And this is only temporary until the fire.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're there. We give the initial, if it needs it, it'll shock them, and then the fire department gets there and they take over. They do everything else.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we have one that I can just shock without having?
You can have the old ones.
Okay, our next presentation is Jaime Jimenez from Clear Talk.
Good evening, Mayor Luis Castro, City Council members, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jimmy Jimenez. I'm a Calexico resident, and I'm here to talk to you about ClearTalk. ClearTalk will save you money. Through this presentation, you will see how. We have a great, well-maintained, solid, and robust network. We're doubling our capacity by October 2011. We're expanding our services to better serve our customers. We're bringing the latest technology to Calexico. Flexibility is important. Calexico is a dynamic city and is constantly changing. And I like the changes that have been made, and I like to see more of those changes happening. That's why we pledge that ClearTalk will change with Calexico's needs. Simplicity means efficiency, efficiency means security. In ClearTalk, we will make it easy for you. Working with ClearTalk, it will be easy, I'll guarantee you that. We're a pay in advance company, so we don't have a big contract to hold you down. We have no hidden cost. We have no roaming charges. We have no hours to watch. We're truly an unlimited talk and text company. I bet that if you come to us, you will enjoy the freedom of being with ClearTalk. We promise simplicity, right? So we will give you one invoice for your whole fleet. So you just write a paycheck and you get done with it. It's that simple. We offer 2 plans you can commingle in your fleet to find the best combination to resolve your needs. Activation and deactivation of users as the city needs it, it will be at no charge. We won't charge you for those changes. Calling plan options. Well, calling plan options and features are commodities in the wireless industry, but we will not nickel and dime you to use those features. We believe that one of the most underused features is picture mail. We believe that this could be grading tools of public workers. Remember, a picture paints 1,000 words. Most important, you can resolve, you can keep your actual phone numbers with us. I think you roll over one too fast. Stephanie, can you go back? Yeah. Calling plans. We were talking about that these are commodities, right? So we will feel that, one of the most underused is picture mail. So because it gets charged, and it gets charged pretty much. Okay, wireless made simple. That's our company slogan. We're devoted to deliver these to our customers every day. That is why we have a 24/7 customer service. That is why we have 90% of our customer service agents bilingual. Porque si usted quiere hablar español, usted puede hablar español, le van a contestar en español. We will pick up the phone before 2 minutes. We will resolve an issue before 3 minutes. And if you need a face-to-face meeting with ClearTalk, then you'll call me and I'll come and visit you. And I'm not alone. I have a local team that backs me up here. And most important, you can keep your actual phone number. Because you're thinking, right, oh my God, we will change. I have to change the business cards. I have to call all my suppliers. I have to call all my contacts. Well, forget about that. We're ClearTalk. We're wireless made simple for you. Here's our coverage map. We cover 95% of the United States, of the populated area of the United States. How can we serve you? This is an interesting question. I would like to sit down with you on a future occasion and look over your case so we can improve Calexico communication wireless fleet. We're here really to serve you. Hopefully you give us a chance to show you how. Remember that ClearTalk is your town wireless service provider. We're here for you. Mayor Luis Castro, City Council members, ladies and gentlemen, Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity of delivering this presentation to you. And hopefully we will be working together in the future. Thank you.
Thanks. Any questions from the City Council? No? Okay. No question. Thank you, Jimenez. Okay, we are moving to general comments by City Council members. And we are going to start from my left. Councilman Moreno, do you have comments?
Well, I will defer to Mr. Hodge.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Councilman comments?
Yes, comments. Councilman comments.
Second, please.
Comments.
First of all, City Manager, I would like to thank you for the City Manager report. Really appreciate that. And as we talked, just another suggestion, which we both agreed, for upcoming reports, have a, we both agreed on a project section. Nothing that's illegal, just information out there for the public and for us to know where we are at point in time with various projects. This other one comment is based on several Calexico citizens communicating to me, and so I'm careful about what I'm saying here. Few, but and I know this issue has come up about Rockwood Park before, and but based on these conversations, it appears that we still have a problem at Rockwood Park, and the way the conversation was going and the information was relayed, it had nothing to do with, quote unquote, the homeless people there. It seems to be some concerned parents that what they are seeing is residents going in and out and consuming alcohol on the premises and loitering. And so, City Manager, I'd like for us, number one, to investigate the validity of these complaints by the citizens, and then number two, if warranted, correct the problem as soon as possible. That's it.
Thank you. Councilman Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm glad Recreation was here today to talk about some of their needs. I have enrolled my son in the El Centro basketball recreation program that we don't have here. I think it's a vital part of the summer programs. They've got programs that deal with first and second graders, third and fourth graders, fifth and sixth, seventh and eighth. They all practice for an hour a day. And on Saturdays, they have games at the Harrison gym. And I saw our recreation commissioner, who was a recreation director, incidentally my appointee to the Recreation Commission, Ms. Pat Urena, and I complimented her on the work that they are doing over there. And I'd like to see more gym activities in a more organized fashion with organized sports, in this case, basketball. You're inside, you're not, we don't have a pool, so I mean, that's, I guess, the next best thing. And that's what brings me to my next concept, after talking with several citizens, is looking at entertaining the concept of having a recreation director again. Someone in charge solely of sports activities. That I know that Ms. Towler is doing an outstanding job, but I know she's in charge of the library, she's in charge of community development, and she's in charge of recreation. Cities as small as Hopeville and Imperial have recreation directors. My question is, why can't we have one that will work solely with soccer, baseball, all these sports that we used to have back in the day? I want to compliment Ms. Towler on the Family Fun Fridays. I was there last Friday. I want to say there was about 300 people out there enjoying the water activities, and I look forward to going again this Friday to seeing the kids and the parents having just a great time. They had music, they had a band, that was singing out there, Beatles songs, if you will. So I congratulate Ms. Teller on that one. I also want to take a look at the future of Rivera and Legion Field. Rivera and Legion Field is a softball field and well, it's actually Little League field at this point. But coming soon is the infrastructure of Cesar Chavez Boulevard. And what the future lies for those particular playing fields. Would it be wise to perhaps look at selling them, turning that area into commercial highway, and then looking at a more accessible spot for a sports complex where boys and girls can play baseball, softball, soccer, basketball, whatever? I think we should start looking at that now, and hopefully maybe the Recreation Commission, maybe this Recreation Summit that was brought on by Councilman Hodge will address the future of facilities for Calexico in the immediate future because of the infrastructural changes that the west expansion of the downtown port of entry will bring. I'd also like to look at the reconfiguration of Rodriguez Field. I want to say it's kind of underutilized because of the fact that I know we only have 1 or 2 Babe Ruth teams and they're very limited. Could we not possibly make it into 2 or 3 fields where you'd have a center area where the diamonds would go out in a certain way, and take a look at that reconfiguration of Rodriguez Field, and maybe because it's in a certain area of the community, could be available for CBDG grants because of the median to low income area that surrounds it, if that's a possibility. And then the Nosotros Park, which has a soccer field, which has lights on that soccer field. I'd like to find out if the CPAL or if any other organization is utilizing that field as well. So that soccer field there. So these are my ideas with regard to recreation. And I also would like I guess for the next meeting, maybe it'll be a storm damage update by our city manager. We had a storm on 7/7/11, which caused some major damages throughout the city. I had the opportunity, on another note, to visit the Alegria Adult Center. I was there on Saturday with Assemblyman Perez to talk about the future of the adult daycare that Governor Brown is going to, if he's not already signed a bill that would affect the future of the daycare activities. And what would happen if these 100 or so seniors were without the daycare activities? I think we should have a plan B, if possible, if the Heffernan Hospital District can look at a way to assist the programs, the wellness programs that it provides. Also, I'd like to see Catholic Charities who offer food services to our underserved, perhaps helping them with the rent of the facility that they distribute the food from. I'd also like to send kudos and thank yous to Mr. Nick Finley. I see improvements on Imperial Avenue, and it doesn't seem to be affecting the traffic in the daytime at all. They're working at night, and they're going 1 lane at a time, so it stays open. And it seems the traffic is flowing, the street is smooth, and great job, Mr. Finley. And also, whoever cleaned up the tumbleweeds by the Calexico Garden Mall, I went by there the other day, and I noticed that there was no tumbleweeds anymore. That was your pet project, Ms. Hurtado? Were you going to speak on that? No. Okay. And finally, congratulations on that particular area. And that's all I have. Those are my public comments, Mr. Mayor.
Gee, you beat me, John.
Thank you. That's it?
That's it. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Councilwoman Hurtado?
I would just like to tell everybody that on the 30th of July at the Ivy Mall, we're going to be having a women's health fair. As you know, I am participating in the Between Women's Breast Cancer Survivor Group. And so if you are a woman, or even if you're a man, you can go out there to the Ivy Mall and participate in getting some free information and activities. I can't help but add a little bit of a comment to what Mr. Moreno just said right now. And again, we don't have a director because PAL was in charge. The PAL under the police department was in charge of that. And that's how we ended up without a director, was because the Calexico Police Department decided it wasn't going to participate in those activities. So it's taken us a couple of years maybe, but I believe that what you just said now, bringing back someone, Sandra, you do an awesome job. You're overloaded. We love you so much. You're doing a great job with the resources that you have. But so the community is asking for some help now in getting us back into what we had before. So hopefully that we're going to have that summit very soon where we can have results and a better program for everyone out there. So your comments are very welcome. Many of you may have already my phone number, Mr. Hodge, everyone who's here, and let us know besides the commissions and Sandra herself, because we really want it to go back to what we had before with or without the participation of the police department. If we can't have a PAL anymore under that direction, that's fine, but we need something. So I just needed to add something to that, sorry. Thank you.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Daniel Romero.
So much was said, I don't know what to add. Nick, you were working on the Imperial Avenue, as former Mayor Moreno said a little while ago. There was also a plan to present how the streets were going to be improved on the road. This was talked about before the reorganization. Is there, City Manager, Mr. Finley, you were going to set up how to proceed, on which street you're going to work on. Has that been developed?
It has not been developed only because, if you will recall, one of the things that we were waiting for was we submitted that planning and technical assistance grant, and we're still on hold trying to figure that out. We may have to proceed without it, but we were hoping that that would help us fund that particular study. But obviously we can't wait too much longer. We're on hold waiting for an announcement whether or not we got awarded or not. But I think if we wait too much longer, we're going to need to move without it.
Okay, thank you. The other thing, again, I was at the Recreation Commission meeting on Monday evening. It was disappointing to see only 2 organizations there present. Maybe, I don't know, former Mayor Moreno, about a director for recreation, maybe somebody to work with Sandra to be focused 100% on sports activities for the community, either working with the city and also with the school. And one of the things that I noticed walking up here, I would like to see the city at the very least. I don't think they're that expensive. The flags, they're in poor condition. If I don't know if the city right now has a timeline how long the flag should be flying or should not, or you wait until you can see there's wear and tear on them. But at the very least, replace them once a year.
Take care of it.
Thank you.
We can call the American Legion and they'll know how to do it.
They'll be replaced tomorrow.
Thank you. And this is not just at City Hall. I've seen them elsewhere around the city. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'm concur with Councilman Moreno. You've been mentioned and also bring the item of recreation. I believe that all of my colleagues, they think too that Calexico, we need someone to help recreation department, Sandra Tyler, and I believe that definitely we need another person to help Sandra, another director, especially because Calexico is growing and there are so many kids involved, and we need to support sports, and also there's so many programs for seniors, and definitely we need to continue support recreation, and that's it. Okay, the next items we are moving to consent agenda.
Mayor, I'd like, before anybody makes a motion to approve all the items, I'd like to pull 13 and 14.
13 and
Second.
14, excuse me, 13 and 14, okay. 13, pull, and,
Oh, 7.
And number 7.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
pool. Okay, it's 7 and 14, and
7, 13, and 14.
13 and 14.
7, 13, and 14.
7, 13.
Mr. Mayor, if Mr. Romero would include that in his motion, I would like to second it.
Okay, and I have a question. I don't have a 13. You mentioned 13?
Yes, it's at the bottom.
It's after number 12 there.
I don't have.
It doesn't have 13.
No, I don't have 13. Item 13. I don't have it. No?
I have it.
Well,
Anyway,
Trust us, we have
It's
it.
approval of extension excluding negotiation with IVAL.
I don't have it.
You don't have it? Mr. Rodriguez, it'd be prudent
Yes,
if you
but I
gave
don't
the
have
mayor the proper agenda.
Okay, thank you.
we were testing them to see if you could catch it.
I have one with pictures. Why is that?
Okay, let me clarify this. It's 7, 13, and 14. That's it?
Correct. Right,
Yes.
and motion to approve 1 through 12.
1 through 12. Motion to approve?
Yes, 1 through 12, I'm sorry. 1 through 6, 8 through 12.
Second. Oh.
There's a second here.
Second. Okay, let's go to vote. Motion carried. Okay, we're gonna start with item 7. Councilman, I believe Councilman Mayor Pro Tem Romero?
No, that was...
Ms. Hurtado.
Maritza? Councilwoman?
Okay. Go ahead.
You call for item 7?
Yes, I'd like to table this item. The item number 7 is requesting an additional $50,000 as a budget amendment resolution. However, we had some questions, and since the chief is out of town today,
We would recommend that we do pull it. I believe that during the briefings, there's some questions on it, and I believe you need more information, so we'll get the information and bring it back to you at the next meeting.
So, this item is
To be tabled.
I move that it be tabled.
to be tabled, okay? For the next council meeting, or, yes?
We should have the information for the next meeting,
For
yes.
the next
We'll bring it
meeting.
back once we're ready.
Okay,
Bring back for the 9th. Can we?
okay. Item 13, and
You need a vote on that one?
we need to vote on that?
I don't think you actually need to table it. I think you're just pulling it. They'll bring back more information,
Okay.
and then they'll put it back on the agenda.
All right.
If you table it, then you have to go through the formal action of moving it from the table, removing it from the table, take a vote. So I think the intent is just city manager provides more information, and we'll put this on a
Okay.
subsequent agenda.
Pull it
So
until
no
very
vote,
much.
no vote is needed.
All right.
Okay, item 13, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes,
Romero?
this is a project, I don't see any representatives as far for this project present here tonight. For one, I don't understand why they are not present. This is something that was approved by the prior council back in March 2009. During June 2010, by the direction of then City Manager Carrillo, he approved the second extension for 1 year. Obviously it's coming before this council for an extension. One of the things that I have concerns with, well, it's the major concern, is that nothing, from my perspective, there isn't sufficient information provided to this council for them to continue having the site control that they are seeking. They've already have 2 years and a couple of months to work with the state or to work with any other agency to receive any kind of acknowledgement of some sort saying that, yes, if you have site control in this facility with the information that you're providing, it is something that we can work with. Anything to show interest by the state. Now, one of the things is that nobody's making an argument that this is a service that they're proposing to offer here within the city of Calexico, and for that I give kudos to them for this kind of service. But
Every presentation they have made to the City of Calexico, to redevelopment, to Heffernan Memorial, everyone has said that there isn't sufficient data to substantiate any kind of agreement to go forward with this project. Now, they've already had the site control for over 2 years, and to date, they have not furnished sufficient information to justify an extension. Now, I understand the need for the extension for them, but I really believe that if the City of Calexico were to remove the status by them having site control, what is that, exclusive negotiating agreement? Or ENA, that maybe some other agencies or some other interested parties will surface to bring out projects. When this thing was approved back in 2009, more than one group approached me saying that they were considering making a presentation, but the site control kind of obviously kept them from going forward. What I would rather see from the council, from my perspective, is not give site control to anybody until they have something that from an agency, if they're going to require some kind of support from some kind of a government agency to do the project that they plan to do, that if they meet all these criterias, that they'll support them. They have nothing. One of the things that the person, I won't name the person, but at the council meeting when I was present, I was going to get a packet from another individual. I never received that packet. I was just had the opportunity about 5:15 this afternoon to review the packet the other 4 council members received back in June, if not in May. And again, there is no sufficient data to justify, from my perspective, that this thing should be approved. Those are my comments, and I'm pulling it, so I'm motion, if anything, for it not to be approved.
Any questions coming from?
Well, I'd like to know one thing, Mr. Romero. Are you pulling it, or are you motioning it? Are you, well, you're motioning for its non-approval?
I'm motioning for its non-approval because it's there for approval.
I like
now,
to.
let me ask you this: can we pull it?
I would, if
I will accept having it.
But you can. I'm sorry. You can table it or motion for its approval, but if there's no second, then it
all right.
dies,
Then I
right?
would motion for it to be tabled. Then. To whenever it is, whenever they bring up information.
So you want to motion?
I'm fine for motion of it being tabled.
Well, I'll second it then.
Okay.
I want to clarify this. Your motion is to table it.
Yeah.
That's to not continue with this.
At least tonight.
At least tonight.
Yes.
Not to approve it.
Not to approve. Not to continue, right?
Not to continue, right.
We need more information.
Not to renew. Table this request for renewing the ENA, correct? The ENA? Exclusive negotiating agreement.
When is, I have a question, Mr. Mayor. When is this exclusive negotiating status, when is it up?
It is up. That's why they're requesting the extension.
And they're requesting an extension for another 6 months?
Correct.
Is anybody interested in the property?
Not to my knowledge, but again,
Well,
we have not put it out because it was an exclusive.
It's been exclusive. Nobody's going to be resurfacing.
However, there have been discussions that the recreation program, I remember,
The recreation program,
Has looked at
recreation
it.
department has, or commission, have inquired about the
Have
availability of that area.
for that area.
There's a definite need for this particular type of service.
Yes, there is, but they haven't.
And according to what Mr. Romero is saying, that no progress has been made whatsoever. I believe no funds have been raised to submit applications.
My understanding that the funding is at this point not there. The documentation that you have received is the latest documentation that we have.
Okay.
So anyway, so a motion for it to be tabled.
To table.
That's my motion.
Councilman Bill Hodge, do you have comments?
No.
No? No. Willie Hermosillo?
Mr. Mayor, Council, Mr. Romero, site control is really important for any project. If they don't have site control, nobody will speak to them. So you need to think about that.
No, Mr. Hermosillo, they've had 2.5 years to think about how to present something to the state or to any other agency. I understand the importance of having site control.
I would give them the courtesy to come up and speak for themselves.
They knew it was going to be in today's agenda. They're not here.
Without site control, nobody's going to speak to them.
You said that they should have an opportunity to speak. They knew it was going to be on today's agenda. They are not present.
That was my comment. Thanks.
Wait. Clarification, we're not relinquishing their site control. We're just tabling it for them to bring more pertinent information or data, right?
Well, I think that clarification needs to be made. Are you tabling it to bring it back to the next meeting with further information so that the potential could be an extension, or are you denying it?
That's what I understood. That's why I seconded, because Mr. Romero tabled it.
And I'm fine with that.
Okay, so we're going to be advising them that at this point it's been tabled to the next meeting. We need additional information.
They need to be here.
And they need to be here, and then you can make a decision.
Okay, so everybody understand, right? Okay, let's call for the vote.
As like Mr. Hurtado forgot to vote.
Okay, motion carried. Okay.
My button doesn't work.
Okay, the business items.
Excuse me, Mayor, there's still item number...
Oh, number 14, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
The Measure H funding here is in the packet. It's also to approve expenditures for staffing. And I'll go through this deal one more time. I believe that this Measure H is not intended to pay for staffing, but maybe for projects alone, whatever, not including staffing. Now, Director Toller, with the proposed expenditures that you have here, do you really need to add staffing? And if you really need to add staffing, you're getting financial assistance not only from the Measure H, or requesting from Measure H, but through some others. There isn't sufficient
Which others do you mean?
Take care of those salary expenses?
I don't know if you're aware, the Recreation Department has 4 staff members, total. That's it. One person in charge of sports, the sports coordinator, the senior coordinator, the recreation coordinator, and the secretary. There is no other staff. So if I'm going to add programs, and if I'm going to add leagues, and if I'm going to add teams, and if I'm going to add everything you want in sports, you need to fund it with staff. Because there's no way that the 3 people can do what you're expecting the department to do. So it really isn't about whether you spend on a director or not, or how much grants we got from somewhere else. You need people. People to do the work, and people to manage all of the kids that we want to bring in. One of the reasons that we do a lot of classes is because we do a contract with an instructor. The instructor takes care of the kids, and then we don't need staff. So yes, I do need staff. But I need bodies to help me monitor, to help me control, to help me teach, to help me do everything that we need to do with the groups of children who come in.
And I concur with Ms. Toller. The more programs that you have, the more staff you need.
I'm not.
And for the past 2 years, I have had no more than those 4 people. And I believe that they do wonders with the 4 people.
Yes, they do.
Okay, but you want additional staffing with these monies for something that you're going to create?
Well, But what happened is that the Measure H committee told me, we don't want to fund staffing. So back in May, I told them, you know, I need staff. I can't add more programs if you don't give me people. So then after several conversations, it was understood that if I included program staff, which is not real staff, if you can understand the difference.
Okay, well, okay, let's go to that.
If I'm going to run, family nights at the pool, and I'm doing it now with my 4 people, right? If I'm going to do it for another 4 weeks, I need help because the volunteers who are currently helping us are not going to commit to 2 months of Friday nights to show up for 5 hours to continue to do what they do. Volunteers show up and then they tell you, oh, at 6:30 I got to go. It's my son's birthday. Or tomorrow I can't show up because I have something to do. So in order to extend the activities that we currently have, I need some help.
Okay.
And so in the proposal, it's program staff. The night of the program, they work and then they go away. The night of the next program, they work and then they go away.
Okay. That's, now, so they're not coming under the employment of the city collector?
No, it would be under contract and it would be specifically for that program, for the number of hours that that program is run that week.
That, I see. But I was concerned that you were going to bring them in under staff.
No.
No, they would be through the contract agency.
And it would be just for that program. So if the program is once a week, they would work once a week.
Okay.
I need clarification. Where did the we can't use Measure H funds for staff come from?
I don't know.
It didn't.
Okay, why are we doing that? Is anybody here for Measure H? Give me your opinion, because I'm confused.
I'm sorry, Mr. Davis.
And would you like to volunteer on Friday nights, Mr. Davis? For 2 months.
It's apparent that I volunteer enough. Excuse my appearance. I wasn't planning on appearing before you, but I saw that you might be appointing some more commission members, and I thought I'd show up. Try my luck. What we try to do is, at the beginning of the Measure H committee, when we first started it up, is we wanted to try to stay away from spending the money on hiring people. In other words, long-term commitments, slippery slope type thing, where we wanted to take care of what we got, but not really bring in new staff. Because then it just clouds up the water a little bit more, makes it, you know, city doesn't have the money to be doing that. But that's basically the answer to the question.
The way you described it, was that written in the minutes that way?
Yes.
That it was going to be contracted out?
Yes. It should be in the minutes because we grilled her.
You just had your meeting on Monday.
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Right.
I guess that clarification is really important to know the difference between a staff member and what I would consider like contract labor, somebody who comes in through labor ready or those kinds of things, that just comes in and serves a very specific purpose for a day or so or a few hours.
And we went into in depth on that also.
That is not staff.
There was a lot of discussion on that.
To accept it that way, because the program and the ideas that you have here, well, of course we need that, and in looking at this, it's only $650 under family Fun Family Fridays, and $416 under Movies in the Park. The rest of the programs, I don't see that you're even right. It's just those two, so it's about $1,000.
Per week.
I'm sorry.
It's per week.
$1,000 per week?
Well, it's $650 per week. Because
oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So that makes a difference. If that's, because as far as what I received in information about this item was, the concern was about hiring staff. Now, is this really the definition of staff as far as what that intention was? Not to go that route and bringing in someone who was under the umbrella of the city with benefits and what have you.
No.
This is different.
Yeah.
I think it's important to know that difference, because what we could not be approving today is something so critical for us during the summer and for a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Right?
I respect Councilman Romero's concern, but what we're having a discussion here is, and what you're pointing out is there is a distinction here. And this is not long-term. This is not city employment. It's contractual on a short-term basis. And when that program is up, they go away. And like Tyler says, you can't have these programs without these people. And let's all remember, this is a wonderful thing we're doing. It's for the children. And again, to use John's term, to me, it's a no-brainer.
Well, to begin with, Mr. Hodge, of course, this is for our children. So let's eliminate that one, because really what comes is fiscal issues. Now it comes to a question also of if this was planned for, why it was not included in the regular budget. Now, again, misinformation, or I misunderstood. I was looking at it that staffing was going to be added. And that is where I was, you might say, getting the ire from me, is that here it was not pre-planned, and also this thing was approved yesterday. Was there a real urgency that it had to be approved today?
Summer's running out.
Yeah.
Well, I understand summer's running out.
I mean, because the
but how
next
do you put
meeting's in
something
August,
the
school
agenda-
starts the
How do you put
22nd.
something in the agenda that has not yet been approved yet?
Have they approved it?
No,
We
it got
approved
approved. But the agenda went out before that.
Actually, I think,
Anyway.
if I'm not mistaken, it was on the agenda prior to our approval, even.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
that, but I think the comment,
Expecting,
Right.
anticipation.
Right.
that is
Maybe
correct.
we should be doing more of agenda items like that.
And like I said, we went really deep as far as how it was going to work and what the options were with the volunteer situation, you know.
No,
some of
no,
them-
I understand all
No,
that.
yeah.
And I worked 7 years with a sports program.
Right.
And I know what it takes to be a volunteer and the sacrifices from it. In that regard, to not go further into this, I'll motion for its approval.
I'll second for discussion. And now that I have you there, Mr. Davis.
Yes, sir.
At your Measure H meeting, was there a discussion on the possibility of busing students or kids to the pool at IVC as far as the Measure H was? If you can't bring Mohammed to the mountain, or mountain to the Muhammad, you know, move
we
them over there,
understand.
find a way to bring that swimming facilities to our kids through Measure H?
We were presented with a package by Sandra Toller that I think city manager had requested, because we needed some numbers and so forth so we can get an idea. Unfortunately, that idea was not on there, so it wasn't discussed. But it is a good idea.
And so that means that idea is dead.
If I can add some information to
Yes.
that, we did verify that, in fact, IVC is not going to be open during the summer.
Well, we found out some information otherwise. I've been working with Merce Friesen. He's been
Okay, well, we were
Doing
told
late
directly
work?
by the people who were trying to help us out on this program.
Let me explain something here. Mike, you and I talked 2 weeks ago about it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I've been doing some research here, and I talked to Sergio Lopez from IBC, and he gave me the okay today that it can be used. $400 a day to use the facilities, and they'll put the lifeguards and everything. And then I got a hold of a bus company, and M&M Buses tours, and they'll charge $300 a day to bus 45 people from the bus, or from Calexico all the way to IBC. So everything's already done. I did all the homework I had to do. It's just up to you guys to okay it. Now, as far as money for programs, put the programs and you'll get volunteers. Nobody had, you know, Little League or Marisa was involved with a PAL. Romero, everything is volunteer. If you have the programs, give them the money for the programs and people will volunteer. Well, all volunteer and we'll do something there. You don't have to pay staff. You just need the programs. And we're ready to go with this swimming pool project if you guys are ready now. I have the paperwork here that I'll pass out to you guys.
Measure H funds for recreation.
That's a different issue.
We, just for your information, some of the stuff that we discussed in regards to this money is Committee member Torres brought up, well, maybe we can get the people that furnish the sliders to furnish personnel, but then you're going into the area where we don't know who these people would be. They're dealing with kids. I'm sure that these contract labor companies screen their employees where we wouldn't have to worry so much. I mean, we're talking about children here. So those are all the things that we took into consideration when we made the decision. And it wasn't unanimous, but it went through.
So this proposal for the busing to IVC is something fairly new that was discussed, as you can see, was brought in. Should action be taken on this item, or should we table it, or should we bring it back at a special meeting, or what do we need to do to see this through?
Well, this is something that the Measure H committee has to also discuss. That's the purpose of why the Measure H committee was formed. It's part of the approval of Measure H.
So
I think the reason we rushed it is because, like somebody mentioned up here, we're running out of time for this. I mean, at least for the summer. We're planning on doing other things long term in the future.
You got 4 weeks for summer. That's all you got.
Right. Right.
Has this been discussed and approved by Measure H committee?
The bus rides?
Yes.
No.
Can you have an emergency meeting?
Sure.
Settle it, and we can get this in play?
Sure.
So, Mr. Casillas.
Luis Casillas, CPOA. I'd just like to comment on the Measure H money. I think that, Mr. Davies, you're doing an outstanding job there.
Thank you,
Measure H.
Mr. Casillas. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And Ms. Hurtado, let's take a deep breath. Let's drink some water. Okay? You got to keep in mind, this is the only form of democracy up here. This is it. Okay, this is it. But back on to Measure H, we've always supported the seniors, the youth, and public safety. I mean, that was the intention of the money. And as you've all mentioned, I mean, this is a great idea. Bus the kids to the pool. I mean, we've got 22 days of summer. You know, this is what the intention of the money was for. Let's go ahead, let's pull the trigger, and let's use it. That's what it's for. The CPOA supports any youth group or activities or any volunteer groups out there. Ms. Hurtado. And in fact, our fireworks stand did well, and some of that money will be funneled back into the community, into the youth and seniors. We're going to have a nice presentation here in the coming up weeks. And so let's use the money what it was intended for the youth, for recreation, and for the seniors. And that's a good idea there, Mr. Moreno, why should the kids pay and not have some fun in a pool? I mean, for so many years, that's what they did. And the money's there. Let's put it to use. Let's funnel it back into the community. Thank you.
Mr. Casillas, well point taken, but I don't think Maritza was against it.
Against what? I'm your #1 fan for sports and kids, and I think we all know that already by now.
I call for the question to include, Mr. Romero would include this proposal for the busing to the IVC?
Mr. Mayor, I think,
No,
I'm sorry, Councilmember Moreno. I think the problem with the busing item, I don't think you can have it, it's not part of the agenda item tonight.
Okay.
So if
understand.
you want to if they want to call for an emergency meeting of Measure H committee, they can do it with 24 hours notice, and then it can be put back to council with 24 hours notice to do that.
And it is correct, this issue has to be brought before the Measure H committee.
I think that's
part of
the
the-
general direction, is that if you're planning to use Measure H funds for that, you've
Yes.
requested Measure H committee review those proposals, then they come to council for the authorization, because they don't get to spend the money, the council does.
Okay.
So
then I will rescind my addition to the second and go along with the first and second from Mr. Romero, and that maybe we can get an emergency item from Measure H.
you can provide that direction to
Yes, we request that all the information be provided, because obviously we have to make sure that we have a complete presentation when we go before Measure H in reference to, I don't know whether the $400 is just for the pool. I don't know, if that includes lifeguards, does it include supervision, recreation's gonna have to look at all that to make sure they give a complete proposal.
Okay. Concept is great, and I think that we need to move on it, so I'll call for the question on this item here before us.
So what was the motion? Can you repeat that?
Go ahead and approve this item number 14.
So you still want an emergency meeting?
Yes, we want an emergency meeting, it's 24 hours, and then hopefully the city council can approve whatever you guys decide, if that needs to happen.
All I need is if we can have a package together with some numbers and.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna call for the
vote.
For the vote.
Yeah, that's it.
Morse code? Can we use Morse code?
If we do one at a time, it'll go through, watch.
Okay.
There you go, see? Thank you,
Okay,
Mr.
motion pass. 5-0. Okay, our next item is business item number 15, is street naming commission appointments by mayor and council members.
Mayor?
Yes.
If I may take the lead in this, one of the two persons gave me a call to see if I could appoint this person, and I would like to appoint Ms. Alicia Fuentes.
Ms. Alicia Fuentes, okay, by Mayor Pro Tem Romero.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to appoint for the street naming commission, Ms. Carla Flores.
Carla Flores.
Application pending.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'm not ready at this time.
Okay, for the next council meeting, probably?
I'm not ready at this time to appoint the street naming commission.
Okay. How about Councilwoman Maris Hurtado?
I'd like to appoint Mr. Manuel Hernandez, application pending.
Manuel Hernandez? Okay, and myself, I would like to appoint Refugio Servín, Cuco Servín. He's not here. For a street naming commission. Okay. Next item, number 16. Appointments to Calexico Housing Authority Board. I'm gonna start to my. Is there?
Mayor, in this particular case, it's appointed. It's by the full board. You can take nominations, but it takes the full council to approve this.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we appoint Shannon Roberts and Betty Nunez.
I second the motion.
Yes, they were the only two that submitted their.
I second that, or did you?
Yeah, she seconded.
Okay.
Okay. What about the? Are you second? Okay. Let's go for the vote.
I beat you guys.
My button doesn't work.
Okay. Motion carried. Motion pass. Okay, informational items, acknowledged receipt of business license delinquencies report as of June 22, 2011. Councilman Bill Hash, do you have question on that?
Not at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Not at this time. Councilman Moreno.
Yes, we've got quite a few delinquent business licenses. The process to collect, does it entail, what does it entail? I'd like to start off with that, with the process to collect.
Okay, no problem.
Well, the difficulty is finance is short of staff, for one thing, But the process is such that we send out the original notices, and once those notices have gone out, if people don't pay, we send letters if we possibly can. But the in-town licenses and the swap meets are really, we need the code enforcement officers out there.
You need what?
The code enforcement officers out there, because if people are cited, you know, they're likely going to come in and pay if they want to continue doing business. Now, if they don't come in and pay, then the city needs to attempt to either close the business, which, as I understand it, we really don't have strong support in our ordinance for that right now, or we can turn them over to collections, which we do in certain cases. But I think the collection process really needs that code enforcement to really put teeth into it. And the code enforcement officers are out there, but you know, they're not strictly doing business license enforcement. They have other job duties, other enforcement type duties to also take care of. So, you know, we don't have a dedicated person to strictly do business license enforcement.
Would it be prudent on our part to look at that particular aspect of collecting delinquent business licenses, to have someone
Yes,
that
I
just...
think it would, because it's really difficult for us to tell, because we're not the eyes and the ears in the field. So we can do the billing, we can write the letters, but it's very difficult to, and it would be very time consuming to have someone sit and make phone calls. We quite frankly don't have the staff available to do that at this point. So this was brought up at the Finance Advisory Board, and I think when you see their next set of minutes, you'll probably see that they will be making some recommendation on that to the City Council.
Do we have any peace officers or law enforcement officers that possibly are on light duty that can probably take up this task? No?
The whole concept of somebody being on light duty is to keep them out of the field. If they get hurt or aggravate an injury, then they're going to be out for more time, so it wouldn't work for us.
Okay. We've got to live by the restrictions on the light duties. Okay. A lot of them wouldn't be able to qualify.
So, but what I'm hearing is the ball is in our court on how to go about collecting. And you say citing is a motivator to collect some of these delinquent business licenses?
I mean, you know, you're always going to have people that maybe aren't going to come in and pay it just because they got cited, but I think the citation process is helpful. You know, the city could look into, and I think that's what the Finance Advisory Board is going to be recommending, that we look into possibly a private agency or a private individual external to the city of Calexico trying to collect these accounts.
I think that would be a good idea, to hear what they've got to say with the plan that they have, so that we can, how much money do we looking at? There were $600, $1,000, you know, there was several pages of those.
That's correct, and you have to understand also that there may be licenses, there may be accounts in there that we have billed that they are no longer in business.
Mm-hmm. And we understand.
And they just don't notify us. We do request, it's written right on the application for them to notify us, and it's written on the bill, but it might be that they forget, it might be that they just don't think it's important, but so it makes it difficult for us to know whether they're in business or not in business.
Unless you go out to the site.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's all I have, Ms. Hashem. Thank you for your information.
And at this time, just to clarify, might be a question that City Manager can answer. How many code enforcement officers does the City of Calexico have on staff right now?
I'd like to say something, even though I said it first, I didn't. We need, and this needs to be put in what I propose, our action plan, where we come together, put our heads together, and strategize all different types of ways to solve this problem, because we're losing a lot of potential revenue here. And so we need to do whatever it takes to become more effective in this. You know, even more than just citation. And so that's something that I think that we can move quickly on as a team together within the city, put that in that action plan, and hopefully we can turn the corner out here because, you know, we're losing money. We're losing a lot of money, and we need to become stronger and more effective in bringing in these business licenses and the fees.
I believe that's going to be one of the things we need to look at as to what is the end result here. How do we, in other words, you can cite people all you want, you can, you know, tell them they have to pay, you can send them to collections, but what's the end result here? And I think that's what we need to look at, and that is, do you close their business down? That'll get their attention real quick, but we have to have a procedure to go through.
Plan to pay.
So that's what we need to take a look at. We need to.
What department does, excuse me if I interrupt you, what department does the code enforcement fall under?
Currently it falls under building.
Under what?
Building.
Building?
Correct.
Would it be an idea to make it fall under finance?
At one time it was under finance.
Oh, it was?
And so that's one of the issues that we're looking as to where, in this reorg, where should things go?
Okay.
But again, what's the ultimate result? And we'll be talking to legal about that because, again, unless you have an end result that something is going to happen, then people will continue. So you cite them, so what? So we're going to be looking at that.
Mr. Councilman Moreno can coincide with this. I mean, in teaching, if you just keep telling kids, sit down, I'm going to write your referral, sit down, I'm going to write your referral, sit down, I'm going to write your referral, and you never write that referral, they're never going to sit down.
Good point, Mr. Hodge.
And I think what Councilwoman Hurtado is indicating, I just straight out, whatever it takes, we need more code enforcers, period. Let's look under the rug, under the bed, find somehow a way, because these are the people that generate some source of revenue for us. That money's being lost out there.
And the Finance Advisory Committee is looking into that, and hopefully when they get through bringing their recommendation to you, they'll also have a cost-benefit analysis, because just to hire somebody, just to hire them without having an analysis, it's going to be difficult for you to vote to increase expenditures and put more people on staff, and we can't even take care of the ones we have. So hopefully they'll have a cost-benefit analysis when they make the recommendation.
The other issue was a couple of meetings ago, I had requested if we could see an analysis on the activity that exists, that we have done possibly in the last 3 months or 6 months, to know and to understand what we have done already and how we operate with this issue right now, so that way we can know what we'll be working or trying to improve for the future. So we still have to work together on that part.
Yes, and in fact, I should be giving you a report that was just turned in with the building department, because again, they also do other activities, and so some of the enforcement on cleanup of lots and so on that we've been noticing, that hopefully you've been noticing that there has been some work being done. We'll be providing you with an update on that. I think that they're doing a great job on that. Again, as long as we can prove up the adding of staff through a cost-benefit analysis, I think that's very important. We've obviously got to be very careful of just continuing to add staff when we're in the situation we're in. So hopefully, like I said, the Finance Advisory Committee, along with their recommendation, will provide that analysis.
Mayor Pro Tem.
I think I picked up 2 names here that the city of Calexico is doing business with. They're not paying their fees, but yet we're still conducting business with them. That's a concern. This is more of an issue of, do we really need more code enforcers, or do we just need to furnish them some teeth? Because if we could have 10 code enforcers out there, but if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, what their objective is, this list is just going to grow. I'd like to see some sort of a plan how the code enforcers, building, or if they're placed under finance, what avenues, what steps the city has to take, even if it requires to be brought before the council, if this is what the council wants. And it's, again, I identified 2, and I think there are 2, that the city of Calexico is doing business with. It's disappointing to see them on this list while they're still getting checks from the city of Calexico.
Well, that list was generated June 7th, so maybe in a more updated list, maybe, if it's possible.
June 7th.
Which is...
Mr. Mayor, if I could just add one comment related to the teeth from code enforcement and shutting the businesses down. Most likely that's going to involve going to court to shut the businesses down. We probably wouldn't be able to add through our ordinance to give code enforcement the ability to shut a business down. So it would require, say, a criminal citation, and then if they were found guilty, the judge may be able to put terms of probation to require them to get a business license, and if they don't do it within that time, then the court could, you know, essentially put them in jail, because you can issue misdemeanor citations for these. If that's an approach the city is going to want to take, but that is going to involve code enforcement, potentially police department, and then legal services, because of the court actions would be municipal code. The district attorney wouldn't pick those up. That'd be city attorney.
Before we go into that phase, we could, the city of Calexico could send out letters
Absolutely. I think
saying you're going to have 90 days to make good, or we're going to have to take the next step.
right. And the other avenue is civil action, where you actually file an injunction with the court and ask the court to essentially order the business to get a license. But again, you know, you have a large list, and so civil actions for something like that, it's going to be an extraordinary amount of time and services. So I just wanted to include that information so the council can think about that aspect of it too.
And Ms. Ashton, thank you for this report.
Okay, now let's receipt on number 7. The next item is knowledge receipt of Calexico Diet Right, TDA 8C Fairfax ratio. Councilman Hodge, do you have a question on that?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. I'm sorry.
Item number 18. On,
no question.
Information item.
No question.
Councilman Moreno.
No, sir.
Councilwoman Maritza Hurtado.
No.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Just that it's good news that the busing service is meeting its percentage, right? Its ratio. Thank you.
Okay, I have a question on this knowledge received. All right, it says here on okay, I'm going to read this part of this information about this ratio, Fairfax ratio. TDA requires a monthly minimum of 10% Fairfax ratio be collected from the riders for the Calexico Diet Right program. In fiscal year 2007-2008, fiscal year 2008-2009, and fiscal year 2009-2010. The city did not meet the 10% Fairfax ratio on several occasions. According to TDA statutes in California codes, a regulation section 6333.9, non-compliance with the required revenues ration if the operators of transit service claim does not meet the 10% Fairfax ratio on the third year, the city will not be eligible to receive money from TDA. For me, I'm reading this, by reading this, I understand that we can lose that federal program. But there's some question. I have a question on 208 in fiscal year 2008 on the next page. 2008 and 2009. Supposedly on that year, that company, I believe it says here, they didn't complete wasn't compliant on that time. And also on the fiscal year 2007 and 2008, Calexico Transit was compliant on that time. And I have a question, Finance Director Judy Hashem. Is that correct? My question is, are you sure about that? On fiscal year 2007, 2008?
Actually, the Finance Department is not responsible for this program. It was the Utility Services Department, so maybe Nick wants to speak to that, but the Finance Department isn't handling that program.
Okay, about, would you please, Nick Fennick, can you explain that?
Good evening, Honorable Council. Nick Finley, General Services Director. As you're aware, I've taken over this department just in these last few months. And the information that I provided for you guys today is the information that was provided, that I was able to obtain in research as to what the fair ratio was, and that's what I'm providing you tonight. As to how these numbers were obtained is what I have on record, and that's what the financials on the fare box cost, it was. So as to what happened or why you weren't notified of that in the past, I can't answer that. I'm just giving you the information that was provided, that was in record, and where we are today since the adjustment was made. We are meeting the fare box rate after the adjustments were made, as you can see on the bullet points. As to what happened back in 2007, 2008, I only can provide you the information that I have.
Okay, and what about the 2010, 2011 fiscal year? What do you know about that?
Yes, 2010 and 2011 is where we were able to adjust the rates, where the service was decreased by half an hour of eligibility and enabling for the operation of the dial-a-ride, and the fare box through the council was increased from 75 cents up to $1. And with these changes that were made, we were able to increase the fare box share up to 12% as we are now.
Okay, so you're talking about that you just get that position and get involved in all these documents, and you just present it to us what you get.
Exactly.
Right?
That's the information that was available to me.
It says here, for fiscal year 2010, 2011, the city has maintained the fare box ratio about 12%.
Correct. It's 10% required.
It looks good. I mean.
Yeah, it looks good now, and that's one of the things we need to do in order to keep receiving this funding. Mm-hmm. We need to meet our fare box share.
Okay.
And so this coming year, we're gonna be looking at it one more time and seeing if any adjustments need to be made. Then we'll bring them to you in time so this doesn't occur again. So it's either, decreasing the service or maybe increasing the fare share, but it looks good as of right now because we're 2% above what the requirement is.
It looks good because you get that information, right?
Yes.
You're not sure about this, right?
This is the information that I receive, and this is the information that is on record.
That information. That information is on records.
Right. This is whatever the research we've done and what we've obtained is what is there, from what the program costs to what the fare box was, and that's what the calculations came out to.
Okay. Thank you.
Mayor, yes, before we go forward, city attorney or city manager, I'm going back to 17. The city of Calexico, again, there's some listings here that appears to be they are doing business with the city. Can those future checks be held until they pay the city?
It depends on the agreement. I believe prior to a certain time, it wasn't in the standard agreement that, it depends on what type of agreement it is. Is it professional services? Is it public works? Is it those kinds of things? But it would depend on the agreement and whether it required that the city of Calexico license be obtained. So we could take a look at the ones that you're indicating to see whether that would be appropriate or whether we would have to pay that. Because they've already done the services, and so withholding a check.
No, what I see is recurring services.
Right. But I mean, usually the checks go out for services that have been rendered. So we can look at those individual
Okay, I understand that. But let's say, for example, if the services continue to be rendered, you let them know that future checks will not be released until they come and pay their business license fees?
In other words, you're suggesting that we're not going to do business with them unless they got a license?
You can do business with them, just tell them to come and bring the business.
Well, once they do the business, once they provide the service, we don't have a choice but to pay them.
It's a service that's being, it's over and over again.
So we'd be better off just telling them we're not doing business with you unless you get a license. Because once they perform the service, they perform the service.
I mean,
So-
here we have this report. We're talking about having teeth. We're talking about sending out maybe a dozen code enforcers. But we're kind of looking the other way because we're not putting any emphasis to this.
Understood.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item, acknowledge receipt of a special financial authority minutes for February 1st, 2011, April 5th, 2011, and May 3rd, 2011, and May 7th, 2011. City Attorney, we have to approve, I mean, we need to, no, we are not approving nothing, right? This is, we just information item, okay.
Acknowledge receipt.
Acknowledge receipt.
So acknowledged.
Okay. Councilman Hush, do you have a question on this item?
No, sir.
Councilman Moreno?
No, sir.
Councilwoman Maritza Hurtado?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem?
No, sir.
No, sir? Perfect. Okay, our next item is redevelopment agency consent item. Right. Number 20, adopt budget amendment resolution BAR to allocate funds for the payment of the Dianza Hotel renovation project, earthquake repairs, and agreement with Calexico Neighborhood House for operation of Casa Villanueva Women and Children's Shelter.
So moved.
So moved.
I'll second, but for a little bit of discussion. This is still inconsistent with everything that's going on with the state?
Yes, it is. These were agreements that were in place before the state took their action. We're just moving money to be able to pay them. We're just allocating the money to be able to pay them.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion?
No.
No, sir.
Okay. This call. We have a motion and second. Let's call for the vote.
I was first.
Okay. Motion carried. 5-0. Informational item. Acknowledge receipt of Business Improvement District minutes for May 11, 2011 and May 25th, 2011.
Acknowledge receipt.
Acknowledge receipt. Councilman Hush?
No question on that.
No question on that. Councilwoman Maritza Hurtado?
No questions. I'd just like to thank the bid for their hard work. I think there was a change, wasn't there, Morris? Morris is now the chairman? Congratulations.
Congratulations, Morris. Give it up for Morris.
Mayor Pro Tem Romero.
I have no comments.
No comments? Okay, next item, future agenda items. And I'm going to start to my left. Mayor Bill Hush.
Mayor.
Not
I'm
Mayor
sorry.
Thank you. Thanks for the confidence.
I promote.
Reorganization? That's okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, I want to acknowledge and thank the hard work of Councilman Moreno and Romero. As far as what I understand, they've been working very hard in building relationships from our city in Mexicali. But I think it's time that we take a step up and move even more forward in our relationship with Mexicali. So I want us to plan, strategize to have joint city council meetings between the city of Calexico and the city of Mexicali on both sides, and we can alternate. I believe a long time ago I'd mentioned this idea, so that we can build a long-term relationship and where we can focus on an economic development plan for both cities. I believe that Calexico needs to capitalize on its proximity to Mexicali in order to expand international trade and border trade. So, Mr. Mayor, I am requesting you to ask City Manager to write a letter to Mayor Francisco Perez Tejada and also ask for a meeting between you, Mr. Mayor Castro, and Mayor Perez Tejada so we can get this started. I know this takes time, and as a border city, I believe Calexico needs to be the main point of reference for the county when it comes to relationship with Mexicali. I mean, we'll all benefit it, not just Calexico, not just Mexicali, but the whole county.
Just for information, and we have a member of the Economic Development Commission in the audience, but the EDC has actually taken already some movements towards that. They've sent letters to the Tourism Bureau, and they've sent letters to the Economic Development Commission, and so they are moving on it. I don't know if Mr. Horton wants to add anything to that, but they have been moving on this for the last 2-3 months.
Okay, excellent.
Councilman Moreno?
Yeah, I understand that El Centro had moved swiftly on the medical marijuana policy. I just want to know how we're doing on that. I also want to know about our ranch market update. We have a possibility of opening up a Cardenas-style supermarket. I know that you and I had met with them.
Yes, and in fact, they are moving forward. The last that we conversed with them is probably about a month ago, maybe a little more than that, and they just had one more item to accomplish. So we're still on track. We're hoping that for a fall opening.
And also the job creators, I'd like to let the public know, or maybe if you give us an update on the Grand Plaza and the casino. Again, I know that was sitting on the desk of Bureau of Indian Affairs, but if there's any updates on that, it would be nice. And also maybe we can get some reports on the attorney fees, especially the amount of attorney fees that's going in through the Personnel Commission.
Yeah, we've spoken about that. In fact, legal is going to provide me some information in order to give you an update.
And Ms. Hurtado had mentioned something important to me, and maybe she'll elaborate on that, a Morals and Ethics Commission. And maybe, I know you talked about that, and you went to the meeting, and if anything has come of it. So I will defer that to her, and that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I may address one of the questions he had, I'll speak on behalf of Chief Newjar, who's not here tonight, but on the medical marijuana, Chief Newjar has worked on a staff report to bring to the council on August 16th, so that council can have a discussion about which direction you want to take with respect to dispensaries in the town. So he has prepared that, and I believe you canceled your regular meeting on August 2nd, so it will go on August 16th, as far as I know.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Maritza
I wasn't going to add anything, but now that Mr. Moreno is asking me to. For those of you who weren't here at the last meeting, that we talked about a training that Councilman, or rather Mayor Pro Tem Romero and I and several others from the City of Calexico went to in San Diego. We started out our training with an ethics training, and within that training, we were explained that many of the cities have ethics commissions, and because we're so concerned about transparency in this day and age, and the fact that we are moving forward in such a positive way. We feel that an ethics commission that would be filled with community members would be a very natural part of what we're trying to do at this point. So I did request that that be an item for the future, for a future meeting to have as a discussion and plan how that could be formed. But before that, most likely what we would need to do is have some information for other cities and see how they form their commissions and how they're run, so that we could have some ideas before we meet. So I guess I'll just repeat that last request.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Mayor Pro Tem Romero?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Nothing tonight. Okay. Are you sure?
You okay, Dan? You okay?
Let's get an instant replay on that statement from Mr. Romero.
I don't have nothing tonight, too. So I believe that's it. So meeting adjourned. Thank you.